Good afternoon, and welcome to Pitstop with your Deersford Lincoln Auto Amigos. I'm Tony,
You know, Fernando.
in case you didn't know that. Hey, today we're going to talk to you about some things that we do for the summer, fun things that you can do for the summer and 4th of July, and why that's always a great time, and things that we do for that. And so I'm going to start out by asking Fernando, what's your favorite thing about summer? Before you say anything, I'm going to guess it's not mowing your yard.
No, definitely not. No, that's not one of my favorite things all year round. Favorite thing? I think summers is a time where you get to spend some time with the family, and make trips or, even barbecues, those are always fun. I think that's my favorite part about summer, just having to spend time with people you love.
You know, I look back to when I was a kid, and so many great memories of summer and not being in school, not having that daily schedule that you had, that you were just kind of more free, until you get old enough and your dad and mom expect you to go get a summer job. But uh, it's just that time as a kid when you just felt like you had all this freedom. You didn't have to worry about being here, being there, and kind of like I'm looking forward to with retirement. If that ever happens, two girls getting married this fall and Christmas. Yeah, I don't know if that'll happen anytime soon, but that was my favorite thing about summer. And then you always look back and you always think, when did summer start to feel like it was coming to an end? And I always felt like after the 4th of July, it was all downhill.
For me, it was, I think, getting closer to August. It's when summer is winding down and you have to go back to, or you have to go back to school in that case, because when I had summer breaks, I like to spend time just watching movies. I don't do that anymore, clearly.
The guy who never knows
Clearly.
quotes, but
But back then, I used to watch quite a bit of movies.
what was your favorite memory, summer memory when you were growing up?
Man, that's hard. Can't think of something.
Wasn't your grandpa chasing you on the bike because you weren't supposed to be?
No, that was just a Tuesday afternoon, Tony.
It could have been in the summer if you were on your bike. Well, in Mexico, it could have
This is
been.
different.
Yeah.
We would just ride bikes afternoons, most of the time, so it was different.
I remember growing up in Peru, Nebraska, southeast corner of Nebraska. For those of you who don't know where Peru's at, it's not in South America. And the coolest thing is when the carnival came to town, and I don't even remember what the Peru days were, celebration, what they called it. But the carnival would come in and it's set up downtown on Main Street. So Main was always closed downtown. And then there were so many fun things going on. But as a kid, you're so excited because you want to go to the carnival. And I remember one of the big things was if you go ask a girl to go for a ride with you on the Ferris wheel. And I didn't like the heights, so I never asked anybody to go with me on the Ferris wheel. And so I would go on it. I could do it. I just didn't like it. But just a great memory. During the day, we'd walk uptown to check out everything. Nothing would be open. And then that night, we'd walk uptown and spend the whole night there. And there were food stands. The whole community was there to celebrate. And there were special things, like groups doing dances or different booths and things where you could go get food. I remember the Boy Scouts had a food stand. And I remember they had a spigot where they were cooking sides of beef on, and some of the best beef that I'd ever had. In fact, the ribs, that's where I loved beef ribs. But I love that every summer I look forward to that. And, in your small town, everybody's probably going, oh my gosh, that was a highlight. In your small town, it's that celebration that you have together as a community. It was a fun time. It was a great time.
Yeah, and one of the biggest celebrations that we have over the summer is the 4th of July. 4th of July, I feel like every year, because I come from Council Bluffs, right? So it was right next to Omaha. We saw all the big fireworks and all that show that happens in the downtown area every year, right? But I feel like every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. What is one tradition that you do for the 4th of July every year?
So we always get together with family for the 4th of July. Now that we have a son and daughter that are living 2.5 hours away, we have kind of broke that and gone down there. I think we've done that one time, but normally everybody comes out to our house because we live on a lake. And so we spend the day down on the beach and we get out on the boat and just ride around on the pontoon. And then we have a cornhole tournament where we partner up, we draw names, or we use that spin wheel on your app you can get on your phone to partner up so that, you don't think somebody's stacking teams by asking. And then when I bracket everybody, and there's a lot of talk going on in the tournament, and Grandpa usually dances out in the yard because the kids will have their Bluetooth music on, and they'll play music that we all like Elvis, and then even a few polkas for him, even though that makes me want to bang my head on the concrete wall. Yeah, it's just a good time to get together. And then at night, anymore, the one thing that's really changed is you used to have to travel somewhere to see fireworks. And when I was a kid, we always went to Nebraska City at the park there, had a big fireworks show. And my mom would make a picnic basket, and we'd go up there and we'd eat and hang out at the park, and then we'd wait for fireworks. And now, you see fireworks in a lot of places, and some of them are impressive, but a lot of the lakes out by us, they have their own fireworks show. And so, yeah, that's the highlight of the night. And then everybody usually goes home after that. Yeah, I always loved that family time at the 4th.
One of my aunt's house, she lives in this block where at one point everybody used to compete for who had the biggest fireworks and who had the most fireworks. So like 4 houses just had laid out a pallet with fireworks all over the place, right? So they would start from down the block and then just make their way down. And it was so cool because it was an hour just full of fireworks because everybody just wanted to compete with who was going to have the most fireworks that year.
Nobody accidentally hit the pallet of fireworks where they all went off at one time.
Nope, no one did that.
I always, a lot of our neighbors will do their fireworks. And sorry, I used to buy some for the kids. And then I got to a point where, God, what a waste of money.
Especially expensive.
Well, yeah. And then for what?
You burn them in 20 minutes. Yeah.
And so, I said, why would we buy fireworks when we can sit here and watch everybody else's? And I know part of the fun is lighting them off, but my kids really never even wanted to do that anyway. So it was me lighting them off, trying to run away before, anything blew up on you. One of the things that's unique with summer is the food that you have in the summer and the barbecues. You talked a little bit about the barbecues and how you enjoyed that. So what was favorite cookout food for you?
A staple in a Hispanic household for the summer. Don't matter what day it is. Could be during the week, could be during the weekend, but staple food has to be carne asada.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, you just have to have it during the summer. So it's all summer long, weekend, week, no matter what, just carne asada.
You cook that on the grill?
Yeah.
Or has it got to be more of a griddle type?
Nope, grill.
So I always like, in the summer you take like peppers and potatoes and all these vegetables and you put them in the tin foil.
Yeah.
And then throw it on the grill. Or you could throw it in your campfire. Excuse me. I always like that stuff. And then you put some little corn on the cob things in there, and that was just great. Food-wise, you just can't beat a steak on the grill in the summer. And even in the winter, we go out and grill some there, but I'm not a huge barbecue. I like barbecue, okay, but yeah, I'm just not a huge barbecue fan. So, people who love brisket and who love the barbecuing their chicken and all that, it's okay. It's just not my preference.
Yeah, I really like brisket. It just has to be good brisket. There's people who make brisket and it's terrible. For those of you who think your brisket is the best, maybe it's not. If people don't show up for it, that means you're not a great cook. But brisket overall, I think is one of my favorite American dishes. And it takes really long to make a good brisket.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're talking all day.
Yes.
And that's probably why it didn't fit me either. But, it's one of the great things about summer. In the food you have, sometimes it's fun to try different things. You have 4th of July, so you do these barbecue poppers that you do on the grill. And there's a lot of places you can go on and you can find summer foods or try this. This will be a good thing for your 4th of July party. If you go online, you can find any of that stuff. But they also have like 4th of July drinks or summer drinks that maybe are fun to try out. Don't have to be alcohol. They can be, what do they call those? Virgin drink.
Oh, yeah.
And so check some of those things out. Try and have a little fun. Maybe do something different.
Mocktails. That's what it's called.
Yeah, there you go. Mocktails. But one of the best things, and we haven't done this for a while, and I don't know why, because we used to make homemade ice cream
Really? Yeah.
for the 4th at my grandma's. And you had to stand there and turn the handle, and now you have those with the motor on it.
You just press the button.
Yeah, you put that rock salt around the container, and then you turn it, and it, whatever y'all put in there to make the ice cream. But that homemade ice cream was delicious, and we only had it once or twice a year, so it was always a big deal, and everybody was always anxious to get some. And then always like, gosh, we didn't make more than that. The fat kid wants to see a little more than this little bitty dish that you got. But another big tradition, watermelon, obviously, in the summer.
You gotta have some fresh watermelon.
But my favorite thing, I told you we go up to the carnival.
Yeah.
Snow cone. Oh my gosh, I love the snow cones. And it's ice with, flavored syrup.
Yes.
But those were awesome.
They taste good.
Funnel cakes, you go to the carnival.
I like funnel cakes, but I can only have about half of it before I'm just tired of it.
That enough?
Yeah, but they're always good during carnival season.
Another great thing about the summer is the summer adventures that you have. Road trips, weekend camping, getaways for the week. Did you guys have anywhere that you like to go? Or, I know when you were in the military, you did enough camping in the tent.
I had enough with the camping. I think I'm starting to get over it because I am going to go on a camping trip. Or not camping trip per se, but I am going to go on a weekend getaway, and I'm planning on camping out there by the beach because we're going to go out to a lake. During the summers, my dad worked in construction, right? So the summer was a busy season where they would have all the overtime and all that. So I don't think we really took trips that often when I was a kid. I didn't start taking trips on my own until I got older, but I like nature, so I love going out to hiking trails and stuff like that.
One of the favorite things we did when I was a kid, and it's funny to say this, but the reason I enjoyed it, we had bought this old camper, and we gutted it and then redid the inside. My dad and my brothers, but there was only enough room for my mom and dad and my sister to sleep in there. And so we would go to Indian Cave State Park, which it's by Nemaha over, towards Fall City. And we would go down there and we'd pull that camper, and my brothers, we'd sleep in tents outside. My mom and dad and sister would sleep in the camper, and we'd mess around all night. We didn't get much sleep because we'd try and scare each other and mess with each other. But the thing I loved about it, it was probably the only time I ever saw my dad relaxed, because normally we were home, he was working all the time. And so we didn't get to do things like that. So to go sit around the bonfire, we'd do the s'mores at night. We'd cook hot dogs and hamburgers out there. And we just had a great time. And it wasn't anything special. It wasn't anywhere fancy. But I think it was just seeing my father relax and having a good time with the family, and not feeling that like he had to be doing something because we were home, and he always had to be busy.
Those are always good memories.
The other great thing, lake days, fishing, boating. Never been a huge fisherman, although I was last week, but that's my kind of fishing.
I'm not an avid fisherman either.
Well, you go fishing and you got a guide, he puts everything on your pole, tells you what you should be casting, and then when you pull a fish in, he nets it and he holds it up, hands it to you for a picture, and then they clean them. That's my kind of fishing. Other than that, I don't fish much. But
I feel like you can never go wrong with the worm on the hook.
And when you're fishing, when we were fishing, for walleye, they call it bottom bouncing. And so they put a weight on there, and then they have a leader back, and it's got a spinner on there, and you just let it bounce on the bottom, and you just wait for them to hit it. And, obviously when you're fishing for northern pike, and then that's casting, of course, my nephews love that because you get to stand here and you get to be doing something instead of watching the pole, when it's bouncing on the bottom. Now, I was more of the bottom bouncer because I can just sit back and fall asleep a little bit. And if I feel something tugging on my pole, you try and set your hook. But one of the things that I didn't like about fishing too is when my girls were little and I'd take them fishing, I spent my whole time untangling things, rebaiting their hooks, or to, getting them out of a snag. It just wasn't fun and relaxing for me. And, I think they lost interest in the fishing after about the first 15, 20 minutes if we weren't catching anything. So that's, and I know there's a lot of fishermen who love it, and I get it. It's relaxing and it's fun if you're catching fish. Just not a thing that I ever loved.
That's right.
Hidden gems that people should visit.
That's what I was just about to ask, Tony. What are some hidden gems around this area that you think people should go visit this summer?
When we lived in Fremont, and we didn't have a lot of money, but we go out to the state lakes a lot
Mm.
and play in the water. My mom again would make fried chicken, and she'd make a potato salad, and we'd eat out there, and we'd spend a whole day at the state lakes. And recently, we were at a chamber event, and I was talking to a gentleman whose wife worked for the title company, and one of her goals is to visit every courthouse in the state of
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska and get pictures. And he was telling me about last weekend how they headed up towards Broken Bow and some of the small communities up there. And he was talking about all the celebrations that go on in these small towns, throughout the summer. And I said, what's amazing is sometimes you think I got to go, to vacation. I got to go somewhere that's really nice or fancy or away from home. And you realize there's so many fun things in your backyard that each of these little communities who's proud of their history and they have these celebrations. And there's a lot to do that's not very far away from you. And I would call those gems. I would say those are the things that a lot of people don't realize. You go to Wilbur, they have check days. If you've never been to that, I've been one time and it was a blast. It was a great time. A lot of Coca-Colas and people who they have a big community band and they march from place to place and play for people. Of course, then people buy them Coca-Colas because they were entertaining them. So, if you have an opportunity, check out all the local things in Nebraska that are going on in small communities. I know we have coming up next weekend Old Settlers Days in North Bend.
That's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. And, you got John C. Fremont Days coming up in Fremont. I know those are local things.
Yep.
And there's something to do all weekend. There's so many things going on that if you can't find something that piques your interest a little bit, you're not looking hard enough. And of course, we're going to drive in those parades. Most of them have parades on Sunday. We got the Dodge County Fair that's going to be coming up, and that's in Scribner, Nebraska. And then we're going to be going to the Cumming County Fair in West Point, Nebraska, which actually that parade's a little later. That's at 5 o'clock at night on a Sunday. And so I'm sure to get my wife to go ride with me in the vehicle, somebody's going to have to take her out to eat after that's over, which is fun. You go somewhere out of town and you go eat somewhere you normally don't go. So that can be a fun thing.
Of course. One of the things that I like about all these events that we have planned for the summer is that aside from them being on Sunday, because we love doing that Sundays, but it's seeing all the communities just have fun, I think it's a great event when the whole community is just having fun.
Well, and then some of these places have bands, local talent, people from maybe not far away that come in and sing. Yeah, there's so much going on, so much to do.
That's right. Now, one thing that you would like to do in the summer, like what's something in your bucket list for the summer?
It's been on there for a while, and I thought I was going to take care of that when I turned 60.
Bungee jumping?
No, not be it. Number one, I don't know if they'd have a cord thick enough for me to bungee jump. But I want to take my side by side and I want to go in the Black Hills in South Dakota, and they have over 600 miles of trail. And I just want to go ride for a week because I love riding on the side by side, and I love getting into where you can't drive a vehicle,
Right.
And there's so many beautiful things to see. And I love the Black Hills anyway. It's one of our favorites. And my 60th birthday, they were going to take me there. And then my oldest daughter says, "We're pregnant." And it was due right around my birthday, the baby. And my wife said, "We could still go, just us. Do you want to go?" And I go, "No. Yeah, I want to be there." And, you never know how that's going to go for sure. You think good things are going to happen. And our first grandchild was in the NICU for a couple weeks. So, you just don't know. So we wanted to be here for her. And so that got canceled. But it's going to happen sometime. But that's number one on my bucket.
Maybe next summer, Tony.
How about yourself?
I think one of the things that I've always wanted to do was go either to Greece or Spain and go to their beaches.
John Travolta's a pretty good dancer in Greece. I think he even sings a little bit.
I'll find out, I guess, if I get to go.
Maybe is it because you want to have a Euro or you want to visit some places?
I just want to see some places, I think the U.S. is a beautiful place where you can go from coast to coast and see many different things. Mexico is a beautiful place where I've been to and I'm from there, right? And if you go from north to south, you will see some amazing and beautiful things. But I want to experience something else, right? So I think going to Europe and going to one of those two places that I mentioned, I think that would be one of the great things that I've wanted to do.
If you get over there, you can go to both.
Exactly, because for some reason, it's a lot cheaper to travel outside of the U.S. from place to place than it is to travel from the U.S. to any place. You could take, $80 airplane ticket from places in Europe. You can't find an $80 airplane ticket here in the U.S.
So we're going to do a lightning round here, just preferences. And I'm going to guess, I think, what Fernando's going to say, and then we'll let him answer. But I just want to show that I think I know this guy. So
right, let's see it.
First one
Let's hear it.
is beach or lake, and I'm going to say you will say beach.
100%.
I knew that. Why? Why would you prefer the beach?
I don't like lakes. The reason why is because I have a fear.
Yeah, you can't swim, can you?
I can't swim. No. But that's not the reason why I have my fear. I have a fear of not being able to see what's underneath me, right? Lake waters are usually pretty dark. If I can't see it, I'm not getting in there.
Afraid of the sharks?
There's no sharks, but I don't know what's in there. You never know.
Having live on a lake, it's nice and you enjoy that. But, I'd say beach because that's going somewhere. It's not going outside and walking down to the lake. Second one, and it's camping or hotel. I'm going to say Fernando say hotel.
You got it.
He's a glamper.
Yes, I am.
Now, I would say camping.
Really?
My wife would pick the hotel. Our youngest daughter, she likes to camp, and I think she gets that from her father. I was a Boy Scout, and one of my best trips ever, we went to the Superstitious Mountains in Arizona, and I was there for 2 weeks.
Are they very superstitious?
I don't know. I didn't get to talk to them much, but, I think I just enjoy being outside. And I enjoy sitting by that fire. I don't have a problem with now that I'm older, I might not like it's been a while. I might not like sleeping on the sleeping bag, on the ground, but back then it didn't bother me. But I just like being outside in the woods, and the stars at night and sitting by the fire and just visiting. I think that's great. And so I enjoy camping.
And I don't want people to think that I don't like camping. I do like camping. I'm actually a pretty good camper. I just like the amenities of a hotel, right? Because who doesn't want AC in the summer, right?
Room service.
Room service. I've never had room service. I don't have that. I don't make that kind of money, Tony. But
maybe
everything else.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Not today, though.
Road trip or staycation? Staycation, staying home and just hanging out. I would say he'll say road trip.
You got it. Yes, I would. I enjoy driving, so I do like taking road trips and being able to, see little places here and there. I love that. I wouldn't say that I would enjoy a super long road trip, but anything under 15 hours would be fantastic.
And I'll say road trip too. And I like being at home but when I'm home, I'm always thinking I need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I like about a road trip is just seeing different parts of the country. And I don't mind a long road trip if I'm not in a hurry to get there. And unfortunately, in our points of life, I haven't had that time to really, go somewhere and not worry about when we get there, when we come home. And so, that I think when I do retire officially from everything, that I'll enjoy that. And just, hey, let's go to Wisconsin, see our good friends, and let's stop here on the way and play some golf or go out to eat and check out this little town. And we'll be there maybe on this day or maybe a few days later, depends on how much fun we're having. And then on the way back, doing the same thing, take a different route, go see some different country and check out things in that area. But yeah.
Can't wait till I retire, Tony.
Yeah, I'm a lot closer than you. Watermelon or ice cream? I'm going to say Fernando say ice cream.
Really?
You wouldn't say ice cream?
No, I would say watermelon.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
You're not a big sweets guy. I miss that. Really? What do you love about watermelon as opposed to ice cream? I can't believe anybody picked watermelon.
If you get a good watermelon that's juicy and
I'm not talking about making a plug in it, pulling that out and filling the watermelon.
I think that watermelon, I like fruit. I do like fruit. I'm not a sweets guy because I don't like, all that sweetness. But if it's something like a fruit in the summer, I really enjoy it because it's fresh. So I would say watermelon.
You don't get a physique like this picking watermelon. So yeah, obviously I'm going to go ice cream. And if you see our Amigos on the go or any of our posts, we did that.
Pico helado.
Yeah.
We just went down there this few days ago. It's
And
in downtown Fremont.
they make their own ice cream, and it was awesome. It was really good. I did not like the salsa mango that Fernando recommended. Fortunately, I didn't order that. They let you sample it, but that wasn't a favorite. But I really did like their ice cream, and yeah, it was great. If you get a chance, check it out.
Yeah, 100%. They're located in downtown Fremont. They have great customer service. They have great options. They have many, many options. So if you guys get the chance to go try it out, I would highly, highly suggest you go try them.
And the best part of it, great service, fantastic, courteous people. I that's important to me. And I really thought, they had an employee that helped us that they should be proud that that young lady represents them because it's exactly what you want your employees to be like. So last one, favorite summer activity. And I'm going to guess that you will say barbecuing.
Yes, I would. It's just great. I love food. I love eating food. I eat a lot.
Spicy food.
I do eat a lot of spicy food. So you gotta have, some of those salsas with the carne asada.
And I would say my favorite summer activity is just being outside. I like to be outside. Sometimes I get a little tired of the heat, but most days I go home from work and I'm outside for a while doing things. Just like tonight, I'm gonna go home and mow my yard.
Drink some Coca-Cola.
Not tonight, probably. I got a pack too, so I'm gonna have time for that. Of course, dinner's got to come in there sometime. But yeah, I'd say just being outside. Anything outside. I love to golf. I love to take a pontoon ride on the lake, and just a lot of things to do that, in the wintertime, I just feel cooped up.
Did you get your boat out of
So bring that up, Fernando.
Oh, okay.
I was going to do it this week, but it didn't work for my brother-in-law, and I need him to go with me because he's got the key.
See, that's why I hadn't mowed yet.
So one thing everybody should do this summer.
I think just go check out what's around your area. Just check out some of the local festivities. Check out, I don't know. I think that most people, when they're in their town, they don't actually go check out what's there because they live there. But some people miss out on a lot of things because they don't go explore in their own area.
And I would say, and this can be my answer for a lot of things just because I think it makes it better. Whatever you do, spend time with your family. You never know when that day could be done. I always tell my daughters that the one thing about life is everything can change in one day. I like to spend as much time with them as I can. They're my favorite people to be around. And the nice thing is I know they all like me, which isn't always the case. But whatever you do, spend some time with your family. One thing I would say with the many local events that you have, maybe check out a new one this year. Maybe go somewhere you haven't been to. It can be an hour away. It can be 20 minutes away and just something new. I know Omaha has, was that Shakespeare on the Green that they have? I know the zoo is a big thing. There's lots of things there. But you can also go to these small town communities. I know there's a community that has popcorn days. I know Preg days.
You can go to Hooper and go check out the car show for the 4th of July.
Yes. Yeah. So there's so many things to do locally that you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can go there and just walk around and enjoy it. So that's the nice thing is when you have those options, you don't have to spend a lot of money to do that. Thank God, because, they don't pay the Amigos very well.
Exactly. Well, we just wanted to say have a happy 4th of July. I know we will still see you guys, and you guys are going to see this podcast pretty soon, and then we'll still have some more before the 4th of July. But have a happy 4th of July. Spend some time with family. Enjoy the festivities, and just enjoy summer if you can.
And I would also tell you, not to just follow Pitstop with the Auto Amigos. We want you to do that. But we'd also like you to watch us Amigos on the go every day. It's about 10 o'clock. Sometimes it's a little earlier if we have something going on. But we try and have fun on there. We talk about a lot of different things. We help promote some things locally. We help promote Deers Ford, obviously, who pays us. But it's a fun time. Also, we do a lot of giveaways at Deers Ford. It pays to follow Deers Ford. And weekly, we have on Fridays, Find Us This for Little Lug Nut. And Fernando will be downtown. asking you to find something. We give away $50 if you're the first one there with that. And every now and then that might go up a little bit. But we also do best guess, where we're going to fill a container with candies and different things, and you get an opportunity to guess. This week you have an opportunity to guess and maybe win a $50 Hy-Vee gift card.
That's right.
So check us out. Follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or Facebook, or anywhere your favorite podcasts are. Check out Pitstop with the Deers Ford Lincoln Auto Amigos and all the other great things we do at Deers Ford Lincoln.
And just make sure you guys turn on that notification bell. So if you go to our profile and turn on that little notification alert, that way every time we post something, you guys are aware and get a notification, because you never want to miss out on a chance to win money, right? So make sure you guys click on that. Make sure you're following. That's one of the main things about our challenges.
Huge.
You gotta follow, you gotta like, and you gotta comment. So make sure you guys are doing all of those steps in order to win, because you don't want to miss out on money if you guys didn't like it, right? So just turn that on, be safe, enjoy the challenges, because they're always fun. So we'll see you there.
Take care, and we'll see you soon.